You're afraid of setting boundaries because deep down you worry about how people will react. Boundaries can feel like this risky move where putting yourself first, which for a lot of us feels selfish or even dangerous. When you're used to being the one who says yes or keeps the peace, the thought of saying no or drawing a line can feel like you're doing something very wrong. You might fear that people will see you as difficult, or worse, they will pull away from you entirely. A lot of times, this fear comes from early experiences where you felt like your needs weren't as important as everyone else's. Maybe you grew up in an environment where people pleasing was how you kept things calm, or maybe you were taught that good people are selfless or and accommodating. Over time, you internalize the idea that having needs or preferences of your own is somehow too much or could lead to conflict or rejection. So, setting boundaries starts to feel like a threat to those relationships you're trying to protect, even though healthy boundaries actually strengthen relationships in the long run. There's also the worry that setting a boundary might come off as rejection, and that's tough to navigate if you care about someone or don't want to hurt their feelings. You don't want to be that person who seems harsh or demanding. But here's the thing: boundaries aren't about rejecting people, they are about creating a space where you can show up honestly and fully. By setting a boundary, you're actually showing people how to respect and support you, which is what genuine connection is all about. Start small. Setting boundaries doesn't have to mean making big dramatic changes or putting up walls. Begin by getting comfortable with expressing your needs, even in small ways. If someone asks for a favor and you are stretched thin, say, I would love to help, but I can't this time. The more you practice, the more you'll see that most people will respect your honesty. For those who don't, that's really important information because anyone who truly values you will want to respect your needs. Another key is to reframe the way you think about boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are guidelines that make your relationships healthier. They are a way to show that you value yourself and that you are taking responsibility for your own happiness and well being. When you approach it that way, boundaries feel less like a selfish act and more like an essential form of self care. And remember, it's okay to feel uncomfortable at first. Setting boundaries is a new muscle you're building, and it's normal for it to feel awkward or even scary at first. But over time, each small boundary you set teaches you that you can take care of yourself without losing love or connection. Ultimately, setting boundaries is about learning that your needs are just as valid as anyone else's. You are not responsible for everyone else's happiness, and putting yourself first doesn't make you selfish. It makes you strong, self respecting, and ultimately more capable of giving the best to others without losing yourself.